So we're back to our sheet metal portion of the end of the quarter, and I'm not going to expect anything from you in sheet metal. I think with the things that you've got to finish up, you'll have plenty to do, and we'll have a couple more quizzes before we're done. But I want to go through how to build a straight, very simple sheet metal hood for a kitchen. And so I don't have any plans. I'm just going to wing it, but I'm going to go through all the steps, and I want you to follow along. And if you choose to, and create one of your own style and dimension, it doesn't have to look exactly like mine at all. It can be your own design. I'll give you extra credit for it. So I'm just going to kind of, thanks for looking at that. I'm going to go to New. I'm going to go to English, and I'm going to go to Sheet Metal, and I'm going to go to OK. And then we are in our standard sketch mode right here. So first thing I'm going to do is go up to the tab for sheet metal. And our very first thing we do is we want to set our defaults. So I'm going to go here to the edit little icon and click that open. And I'm going to, very first thing is go new. And I am going to go 12 gauge stainless steel, and OK, and I'm going to double click on that to make sure that that's my default. Now that becomes my default, and I'm going to go down here and scroll down and find stainless steel. There's some stainless steel 4040C down here. I'm going to leave my thickness at 1.20, which is 12 gauge. And I believe, I'm going to go up to bend while I'm right here without having to come back and do this. I'm going to go to bend, go into bend relief, and I'm going to go to round. Click on sheet again. Go over to K factor here now and click on the edit. And it says, do you want to save the edits to the 12 gauge stainless steel? And I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go, first thing is go to new, and I'm going to go V, bend, gauge. I'll make it, and I know I'm spelling gauge wrong, but I like spelling it this way. Gauge stainless steel. Oop, I'll do capital S's for stainless steel. Okay, and go OK. And again, I'm going to double click on that to make sure that that's the one I'm changing, and I'm just going to leave everything here as is, and then I'm going to go to done. So we look at this. Our sheet metal rule says that we got stainless steel, 12 gauge stainless steel. Down here we have V-bend stainless steel, and off we go. And I'm going to use the thickness from the rule right there. I'm going to uncheck that, the use thickness from rule, so that we're using the thickness of 120. And I'm going to apply. And we should be good. So we are now ready to do some drawing. So I'm in my front view. I hate this view, so I'm going to get up here and go. First thing I'm going to do is it says finish sketch, okay, and then I'm going to go over here and right click and edit sketch, and there we are, and we now have our sketch toolbar. I'm going to grab the rectangle, grab it over here, and I'm going to go 36 tab 24, and there we have a rectangle that's 36 by 24. I'm going to go to the front, and then I'm going to pick this arrow so I make it nice and flat. I'm now going to go up to my house, right click, and go set as front. I'm going to go up to the upper right hand corner of the view cube, and I'm going to go back to my house and right click and set current view as fit to view. So that's my home view from now on, and when I go to top, that's what I'm working in. I think this is, for me, is a holdover from working in AutoCAD and 3D, because that's where the homes are in AutoCAD. And for some reason they changed it over here. I just don't have my template set up right. I'm not quite sure what's working. But this is going to be real quick. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is go up to chamfer. I'm going to put in 8 inches, and I'm going to come over here and chamfer these two front edges just like that, and go OK. And then I'm going to go over here to my origin and hit the plus sign on the origin and find the plane, which happens to be the XY plane that I'm working in. I'm going to right click that plane, and I'm going to go to Visible and turn on the plane. And then I'm going to go Finish Sketch. And I'm going to go now in Work Features and go to Plane, pick the existing plane, and then pick again with my left button and pull up. And you can see there's a number there. And I'm going to go up 18. And I'm going to hit the green check mark. And now I have a new plane there. I'm going to go right click, New Sketch, and I'm going to pick this plane to sketch on. I'm now going to do my project geometry, and I'm going to drop a piece of geometry across the back here. And I'm going to go up to rectangle. I'm going to attach it to that piece of geometry that I projected. Come over here, and I'm going to go 18 tab 12. There we go. So I got a little 18 by 12 rectangle on top of my rectangle with my chamfered corners. And then I'm going to center it, and I happen to know that if I go to the end of this and make this 9, we should be centered, but I'll be a good guy and I'll double check. I'll go right above View up here and go to my Measure Distance tool and pick the endpoint and confirm that it is 9 and that I am centered. Okay. I'm then going to go to the view planes and turn their visibility off because it'll just be in the way and I don't need it anymore for right now. I'll need it a little bit later, but this is good. And to show you, if I go into my orbit, you can see that I have 2 pieces of geometry on 2 separate planes. Get back into Home. And now I'm going to go Finish Sketch. We're going to go over, we're in our sheet metal ribbon right now. We're going to go to Lofted Flange. And I'm going to pick this, and I'm going to pick this, and we have just created our first lofted piece of sheet metal. I'm going to go OK. And there we go. Oh, look at the nice texture with the little weld marks on the stainless steel. That's pretty spiffy. Okay. Now, one of the things in Lofted, I'm going to go back here and go back into my browser, and I'm going to right click on the Lofted and edit the feature. And one of the things we want to check is this converge box. And look what happens to the corners here. So I'm going to uncheck that, and then I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it really well. And when I click that converge box, look what happens. Where the material would converge in the corners, it automatically cuts it out for us. So that's an important thing for you to make sure and turn on. And I'm going to go OK. And there we go. Then, and you know what? One of the things I'm going to do, I'm having misgivings right now, and I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm having some misgivings about this material. It's pretty cool looking with the welds, but I think it's going to be too busy for you to see some of the detail. So I'm going to go back up to sheet metal defaults. I'm going to go back into the edit sheet metal rule, click on that. And where it says here in the drop down materials menu, I'm just going to scroll down and find stainless steel, okay, without the welded. I went too far when I was going down there, and I'm just going to pick the stainless steel 4040C, okay, and then done, and save my edits, yes. And I think that's a little easier for you to see the detail on. The welded stuff was pretty snazzy looking, but I think it's just going to be too much for us to deal with. Okay, so one of the things we do know about sheet metal is we want to be able to fold this out, and I don't believe we can right now. Nope, it's not going to do anything for us. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my home, but it did turn it around for me, which is kind of nice. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in here and escape a couple times, right click, and we've got our flat pattern here. We got to open this up. And what I want to do now is I'm going to have to undo here. There we go. And now I'm going to go right click and I'm going to go New Sketch. So I'm going to go and create a new sketch on the back plane. Okay. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to my construction line first. Highlight that. Come pick a line. Find the midpoint on this piece of geometry here. Come down and find the midpoint down here. Let's zoom in a little bit. And come on. Should be a piece of green right There it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. So now we have that midpoint right there. I'm going to go finish sketch. And then we're going to go over here to a new thing called rip. And we're going to rip this thing. So I'm going to pick the face. And then I'm going to come over here, pick the rip point. Come back over here and pick my line. Oh, come on now. Don't make a liar out of me. Okay, rip, pick, and rip point. And I don't know what's going on here, so rip. We're going to go rip again. Rip, pick the plane, and then notice you just have to come up and pick the point right here of the line that you created. You don't have to pick one. There is, if you go up here, there's a 2-point, and that there's a point to point, and that's if you wanted to do something diagonally. I'll actually show you that here in show you that. Let's go point to point. So I'm going to come over here and pick that point right there, and I'm going to pick this point up here, and there's my rip line diagonally. I set my gap. I'm going to set it for 0.25, and I'm going to go apply, and you can see if I swing around here that I was able to rip it on an angle. But I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go back here, and I'm going to undo my rip and close this out, and I'm going to open up my browser, go to my rip, right click on my rip, and go edit feature. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to single point, and then I'm going to go, I got my face, so I'm going to come over here and pick my face, which is that, and then my rip point, I'm going to pick this rip point right straight up here, and notice it went straight down. I kept my value gap of a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go OK. And if we look on top, you can see that there is a gap right there of a 1/4 inch between my two panels. Now go back to home, come back around here, and then I'm going to go up here and we're going to start a new tool. And we're going to use the flange tool. And I'm going to pick the flange tool. And I'm going to come over here and pick this edge. Notice it highlights that it's 1 inch, okay, and it's 90 degrees. Well, first of all, I'm going to make this 45, and then I'm going to make this about 0.125. Let's see how that looks. And I'm going to come on top and look on it. And this is one of the things you want to do while you have this available, is you want to keep working at it. Okay, so I'm going to go to my flange right here and close this. I'm going to right click on my flange and go to edit feature, and notice how it highlights it. So now I can change things. I can go 0.25 and it made it longer, and that's what I wanted to do. So I wanted just make it a little bit longer, and you can use that function to edit and check things out. Okay, so then I'm going to come around here again. I'm going to use the same flange tool, and I'm going to pick this edge right here, and you can pick either one, it doesn't matter. Okay, and I'm going to go on top, and again this way it allows me to see what I'm doing. Okay, now I can tell you immediately that I'm going to make this 1 inch long, 1 inch, and I'm going to get a collision in here. Okay, it's going to tell me that I have a collision. I'm going to go apply, and there it is. But I'm going to accept it because I have the opportunity to go back and fix the first one. So I'm just going to go to the first flange and go to edit feature, and I'm going to increase my distance to 0.3 and see how that's too much. Okay, so I'm going to go into the first one and edit my feature, excuse me, and let's go 0.25 and see how that looks. That's pretty darn good. Okay, and that is a standard offset of 0.25, so I think I'm going to leave that right there. Okay, so that was done by flange and flange. Okay, and you can go into the first flange, edit the feature. You can see that I did 45 degrees at a distance of 0.25. Then I went into the second flange and I'm going to edit that feature so you can see it. And I again did 45, but I made it went the other way, and I went a distance of 1 inch. And I'm going to go OK. Now I'm going to go into hem, and there's several different kinds of hems. There's a single, a teardrop, a rolled, and a double. In this case, I'm just going to use a single, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put it on this corner here, and I'm going to come back. As you can I'm on the wrong one, excuse me. I just need to go back into here, and I know I need to change something because I go to this very first one of my flanges, and I'm going to go to edit feature, and I'm going to go 0.375, and let's see how that looks. And I'm going to take my measure tool, and I'm going to go from this here to that face there, and that's 0.11, and that's not enough. I need 0.1, at least 125. So because I'm going to flange, I'm going to bring around this hem and bring this back around. So I'm going to go in here, and this is, if you did this all the time, you would have these things figured out in a heartbeat. It wouldn't be an issue at all. So but this is a great opportunity for you to play. So I'm going to go 0.4. Let's see how that looks, and go OK. And I'm just sort of guessing as I go, and I just need it to be more distance in between here than the thickness of the material. Okay, now I'm going to go to my hem, and I'm going to come put it on this edge. Let's see if I can get my orbit to go just a little bit. There you go. Just a little bit so I can grab that edge. Okay, and escape. And come in here and pick that. And then let's go back on top and see how I'm doing here. Oh, that's going to work. That's going to work. And I see I need to do a little more. So I've got a distance in here. I got a thickness, and I have a distance. So let's see which one wants to. Let's go here. Let's try 0.8 on this. That's my length. Okay, so that's going to be okay, I think. And let's go with my thickness here, and I'm going to go to 1 and see how that works. I like that. I'm going to go actually 1.1. I'm going to take that and go OK, and we're going to get a conflict again. So just be prepared. Great, and I'm going to accept it because it's telling us we have conflicts, but it allows us to work them out. And I'm going to close this out. Then I'm going to go back into my first flange, and I'm going to go in here and edit feature. And looks like I need to go maybe, let's try 0.75. And I'm just guessing here, you guys. Okay, and that's too much, okay? And also I'm seeing that my gap in my rip is not going to be enough. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go back to my rip, and I'm going to edit the feature, and I'm going to change my gap to 0.375. 375. And I'm going to accept that. Now I got to move this out, so that was that first flange, and I'm going to edit flange, and my distance is 0.8. Let's see how that looks. Too much. First flange, and edit feature, and how about 0.6? Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. I like that. Okay, that looks really good. That looks great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead here. I'm going to roll my just a little bit because I need to put another hem on this. And put the hem right here. Okay. And I'm going to go back on top so that I can edit it and make it look right. Okay. And what I'm seeing then is the thickness is, I need a little bit more thickness, so I'm going to go 2. There we go. So that is clearing both sides of that. Okay. And it's a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to apply, and it's going to tell me I have a conflict. I'm going to go accept it. And I'm going to go back into this flange here, which is our second flange that we did. And I'm going to edit the feature, and I'm going to increase the length to 1.25 and go OK. Great. I could probably change that to edit feature. Well, let's try 1.25. So 1 1/8. Yep, got a little bit of conflict. So I'm going to cancel that and keep the one that we had, because it's better to have a little extra than to try to make this all too tight. But that all looks really good, and I do not have any conflicts. So now I have my object, and we are ready to do our magic unfurling. So there's our seam that you would create, and then that would lock these two together. And I'm going to go create flat pattern, and there it is. And you can see all the little points that you would have marked out on your sheet metal. And I believe there's some corners that are actually, it's not showing them cut out when they're here, but it will a bit later. There we go. So that's the first part of this. Now let's go down and work on this a little bit more on the inside here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come down here, and I want to do another hem on the front, because I want to strengthen this along here, and also want to make it so it wouldn't cut you if you raised up and hit it with your head. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go to the double, and I'm going to roll it onto here. I'm going to zoom in here and pick this inside corner. There we go. And we can see what it looks like. And I can change my thickness back to 0.1, I think. Let's take a look. And actually, I like the thickness. I like that. Let's go to 1. Apply. Oop, what did I do? Can't do that. Cancel. Okay, so let's go to, I think it was 0.8, wasn't it? Apply. Too small. Okay, I think it's just 8. There it is. And let's go to 10, which I believe that looks pretty good. That looks good. And I'm going to go up, and my thickness, I can make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Apply. There you go. So it's a real tight bend that you see. Boom, boom. Okay. I don't think I can go any smaller. Let's go 0.8 and see what happens. And I am just literally playing with this. Okay, and 0.8. And it won't let me do it, so I'm going to do a 1. And we're good. Okay, so there's my roll. Now, I'm going to come over here, and that's probably, I'm looking at that, and that's probably too much of a roll. So I'm going to go in here and jump into this hem right here, and go edit that feature. And we got a double roll, and I'm going to take that 10 and make it 8. How about 7? How about 5? How about 6? And again, I'm just literally playing to see how everything works. I want to understand how this software, how changing the parameters changes the actual software. And that's what's beautiful about this, is it gives you a preview. Okay, so we got the front piece done there, and I'm going to bring this around here, and just for fun, we'll open it up, and there's that little portion that we put on it. And notice the little notch it put in it, because it knew it was going to roll it up, so that's an important thing. And now we're going to come around here, and I'm going to get in here, and I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to go to my hem, I'm going to go back to my double, and I believe, wasn't that 5 that I did? Or 6. That was 6. Okay. And pick that arrow right there, and wrong side, so cancel, and hem, and double, and pick that inside edge, and go apply. It's going to tell me we have a conflict. And I'm going to go OK. And what I want to do is while I'm here, I want to see what the conflict is. So I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to go. It has it previewed. It allows us to continue the preview, and this is so we can get in here and see what our conflict is. And here you can see that our conflict is that we're going to be wind up hitting this other piece of material that we've got bent in here. So, oh, come on, there it is. So we've got to do a little work here to fix that, because as you roll it up, it needs to have some clearance on it. Okay. So I'm just looking at that, and I'm going to go look at this right down here. Looks like so the only thing I can do is I can do the one that I'm working on. I can't do this one. If I hit apply, I'm going to get this conflict, and it's the kind of conflict that will not allow me to keep it. So I'm going to cancel it, and I'm going to go cancel and get out of it. And there we go. And the first thing I'm going to do too, and which I haven't done yet, I need to go File, Save. Oh, hood with seams. Oh, cool. See, I did. And I was trying to figure out where I saved it. Shame on me. Okay, hood. Just in case I crash and lose it. Okay, we've now saved that. Good thing to do, and I have found that working in the sheet metal software, it has a tendency to crash. Okay, so we're going to zoom in here. I saw that I need to cut this corner off here, and this is about the last thing I'm going to be able to do on this video, so I'll do this as quickly as possible. This is an interesting little piece of a thing we can do here. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go New Sketch, and I'm going to pick this face right there. And then I'm going to go Project Geometry. I'm going to pick this outside line here, the end of this here, and that outside there. And I'm going to use my Orbit tool to get in there, and you can see where my geometry is. Okay. Oop, don't crash. There we go. And then I'm going to come up here, I'm going to draw a line. And I'm going to go from that piece of geometry there to that piece of geometry there. And I'm going to go from there over to here. And I think I'll just define it by an angle. And looks like, how about we try 45? We can come back and fix it later, but I'm thinking 45 is going to be enough. And done, and finish sketch. And now we're going to go to the cut tool. We're going to pick this profile, and we're going to go thickness and see what happens, and go OK. It just goes down through it, okay, which is not enough. So come on back out. And I'm going to undo. And do you notice that it didn't quite take the corner over here? So I'm going to have to increase this a little bit. I'm going to have to project some other geometry here. So I'm going to have to get out of here. It left a little edge on here. And I'm going to have to zoom out here and get out here in the real world and go back here to my sketch. And I'm going to go Edit Sketch. And somehow I got some magic geometry out here which I don't need. Huh. I don't know where that came from. But this is not over quite far enough, so I didn't do something right. So I'm going to delete that line. And I'm going to project this piece of geometry here. So I'm going to go down here and project this little corner right here. And that now you can see what the problem is right there. It just was a little bit off. Okay. So I'm going to go with my line, and I'm going to go pick, and I'm going to go come over here and pick that line over there. Okay, there we go. And hopefully this is over far enough. And I'm going to go Finish Sketch. Great. Go to Cut. There's my cut. Now here's the thing we can do. We can do this thing across the bend. Let's see what happens when we do that. Okay, and it did do it, but it didn't take out this other material that I need to take out. And I'm going to go OK with that. And zoom out. And come back in here. And zoom in here and rotate myself around. You can see how fun this is, working inside stuff. Okay. So you can see what I was able to cut out there. And it cut it right out to that edge. Now what I want to do is cut it all the way across. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to call this good because this is the end of my video.